It's a controversial mandate that has sparked protests at an unlikely setting in India, movie theatres. The Supreme Court of India issued an order last month that cinemas across the country play the national anthem before films and that all moviegoers must stand. At least 12 people were arrested and charged recently with offences of not standing in the southern state of Kerala before being released on bail. A similar scenario played out in other states as well. Critics say they're being forced to display nationalism, which violates their civil liberties. The ruling reads that Indian citizens are duty-bound to show respect to the national anthem and that the perception of individual rights is constitutionally impermissible. Reactions are mixed.
I think it's a proud moment for all Indians, and it's really great.
So why did you protest? We protested because these sort of surveillance is infringing our personal liberty.
So the question is, should patriotism be a choice? And is this ruling indicative of a wider tendency in the country towards authoritarianism? For more on this, I'm joined by G. Venkatesh Rao in New Delhi. He's an advocate at the Supreme Court of India. Great of you to join us, sir. Your proximity to the workings of the Supreme Court will be very useful during this discussion. So let me ask you, is it correct to imprison someone for failing to stand when the national anthem is played at a cinema?
Well, imprisonment is a harsh treatment, but definitely if it is showing disrespect to the national anthem and the national flag at the time when it is being played, there would be, some kind of a sanction from the law. Therefore, I would say that maybe imprisonment is a little harsh. A harsher treatment, and that should not be the case. So
do you agree maybe that the Supreme Court ruling might have opened up a can of worms here? Because yes, I'm looking at the Prevention of Insults to National Honor Act of 1971, and I'm looking at the laws here. They seem to be, fairly sound and not too different from other countries. But after the ruling, what we've seen is people beaten up, like a man in a wheelchair who was beaten up for not standing up, and later there was an apology. We've also seen the anthem becoming a sort of tool to punish people you don't like, when the BJP youth complained about a writer, and now he's on trial for sedition. So this has opened up a can of worms. Was it maybe the wrong decision then for the Supreme Court to mandate that this anthem must be played at the cinema every time?
Now, you see, the Supreme Court has not pronounced a judgment on its own. The Supreme Court has pronounced a judgment based upon the existing legal position. The legal position being that the Ministry of Home Affairs, many years ago, way back in 1965, had made this notification to all the cinema halls as well as schools, that they should begin with the national anthem. The Supreme Court, looking at the laws and looking at the Prevention of Insult to National Honor Act, has upheld the position and the legal position which the government of India had pronounced and enunciated more than almost 40 to 50 years ago.
So undoubtedly what we're seeing is the law in action here. This is not a new law, but we're seeing a new an invigoration of the law in action, which is leading to disabled people being beaten up in the cinema when they go to a movie. Is that how you want to see the law being played out?
No, I am so sorry. That's not what the law expects, that where people are disabled. In fact, the Supreme Court went on to say, almost more than 25 years ago, a quarter of a century, that a particular sect called Jehovah's Witness, who do not believe in singing the national anthem, have the freedom to choose not to sing the national anthem.
If you went to the cinema and you sat down next to somebody at the beginning of a movie, the anthem played, you stood up for the anthem, that person did not. You're saying that there needs to be laws in place to ensure that there's no mocking, no ridicule. Would you consider that person peacefully sitting down, maybe even singing, but peacefully sitting down, would you consider that person to be mocking and ridiculing the country and the nation and its symbols?
No. You see, now the point is that an exception is not the way to look at the rule. There have been some odd instances, but the actually what the law tries to ensure is not to be harsh with those who perhaps who are disabled.
But those
or those
20
who are,
people, 12 in Kerala and 8 in Chennai, were all arrested for sitting down. They weren't arrested for heckling or abuse. They were arrested for not standing up.
Yes, well, I am not saying that arrest is the correct punishment or treatment for these kind of offenders. That is far too harsh. I agree with you that it is harsh to arrest people who may have not shown the respect, but at the same time, having said that, the due respect is mandatory for all citizens. Who should not behave in a manner which would, which would be treated as a ridicule. Even a certain peaceful gesture can be treated as a ridicule to the position of showing respect.
G. Venkatesh Rao, I would love to go on. Unfortunately, I can't. I've got to wrap because we're running out of time. Thank you very much for joining us from New Delhi.